All right. Hey, we got a schedule for 2025. We knew who the teams were. Now we know when we're going to be playing them. Let's discuss that coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We got a schedule for 2025. We know when the Oklahoma Sooners will be playing their SEC foes. Now, they're playing all the same teams in SEC play that they played in 2024. Now we're just flipping the script. We're going to have Auburn come to Norman. We're going to have Ole Miss come to Norman. We're going to have Missouri come to Norman. Michigan come to Norman. LSU come to Norman. It's going to be a lot of really fun games. But, Jay, what's your biggest takeaway from the Oklahoma Sooners 2025 schedule?
So, in a couple of ways, the SEC did not do Oklahoma any favors while also doing Oklahoma a solid. Let me explain what that means. This will be the second year in a row because of the way that the calendar is set that we'll have 2 bye weeks. Because we'll have 2 bye weeks, they have been placed in strategic areas. So we'll play the first 4 games of the season. We'll have a bye, which Auburn is actually before the bye week. Kind of fascinating. We travel to Temple. Auburn comes to Oklahoma. We get a bye. Kent State comes at the crib and hangs out. And then it's OU Texas, which is the second weekend in October this time. Not too bad, you know. Can't complain about that, right? Well, this is when it gets tough. You go from Texas to traveling to South Carolina, at home against Ole Miss, and then traveling to Knoxville to play against Tennessee. So you've got 5 straight games, but then you get a bye week. Then after that bye week, you travel to Tuscaloosa and you host 2 straight home games of Missouri and LSU. I'm going to be honest, that middle stretch is going to be tough, but having that gap in between Alabama, it's actually a pretty good blessing for us, especially because Texas, before OU Texas, do you know where they have to travel to, John? The Swamp. So they played Florida in Florida the week before OU Texas. We get Kent State at the crib, but they got to travel to Florida. Texas fans are not happy about their schedule.
On October 4. It's going to be still pretty humid on October 4.
Yup. They got to travel out to Florida and play in the Swamp. Looking at their schedule, man, everybody they play against, if they go to SEC games, they either have like a bye week or like a cupcake the week before they play against Texas. And Texas is like, so we got to play all this gauntlet afterwards? I mean, technically it's still an easier schedule, but they've got some traveling this coming year.
I look at this and I'm like, starting October 11 through November 29, what is that? Roughly 6 weeks. You play
9 weeks, 8 weeks, because you got a bye week in there.
Yeah, but calendar wise, you're looking at
7 weeks. 7 weeks, yeah. So 7 weeks,
7 weeks ish, give or take a few days. In those 7 weeks, you play Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, LSU.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how you start the season, you could start the season 5-0. Was it or 6-0, 5-0,
5-0. Yeah.
All that matters is how you finish those 7 games.
Yep.
Those 7 games are going to tell the tale of your 2025 season.
And if we go physical like we did this past season, we talked about it. All we need is a top 50 offense. The defense, for the most part, returns majority of the talent with the young players that we know are ready to play. We can maintain a similar defense. Top 50 offense with Ben Arbuckle. We're golden. We'll be able to win games that we should have won last year.
What's the game at home you're most looking forward to?
The home game I'm looking forward to the most, Auburn. Okay. I'm ready for Auburn to come back. I like to continue to claim stake on the state of Alabama. I need R. Mason Thomas and Kip Lewis to go ahead and put that stake down and say, nope, we still own this area, own Alabama. Kidding and serious at the same time. But no, the other one that really jumps out to me, honestly, the most at home is going to be that Ole Miss game. That's going to be a fun game. Michigan too, but this schedule is really good. Let's just put it that way. It's really good.
From an entertainment standpoint, it's really, really good. From you got to go win some games standpoint, it's really tough again. We knew it was going to be. We knew it was going to be tough. At the same time, Ole Miss doesn't look quite the same if Jackson Dart's in the NFL and Trey Harris is in the NFL and Walter Nolan's in the NFL and Princely Unmanmian is in the NFL, or Chris Harris Jr. are in the NFL. That's a different looking team. Now, they'll be portal hunting again. I know Garrett Nussmeier is already coming back, so LSU is going to be tough again. Missouri is going to look different without Brady Cook. I mean, if he comes back, is he eligible? I don't even remember if he's eligible anymore.
Well, Brady Cook's done. Yeah, he's out. He's gone.
So
yeah, I think he's gone. Yeah.
A lot of this is going to look very different. Tennessee, we know, is going to be tough. Going to play in Neyland is going to be really, really difficult. That's a tough place to play. But less than a decade ago, we've done it, and we did it, and we beat them. I'm ready. I'm ready to get Missouri back. If there's a game on the schedule that, I really want Oklahoma to win, I want them to go finish that Missouri game and get that revenge game this next year in Norman and set the record straight a little bit. But I think that Michigan one's going to be a lot of fun. Just, again, another blue blood program that's coming to your crib, and you get to see a little bit of the maize and blue. Now, they'll be in their road whites, but you'll get to see that iconic Wolverine helmet trotting out of the tunnel. That'll be, chef's kiss. It'll be a beautiful uniform matchup. Yeah,
no, I totally agree. And I'm pretty stoked at the fact that we get the back-to-back home games to close the season out. Mm-hmm. Having Tennessee go on the road to Tennessee and then on the road to Alabama, so going to Knoxville and then Tuscaloosa, that would typically have you pretty stressed out and worn man, that's going to be tough. That bye week in between is really going to be a godsend. The Tennessee game's going to be really tough, mainly because it's going to be the last one of the 5 games straight of games, and you're gonna be let's limp our way into just our body needs a rest for one full week because we don't have the cupcake in the middle. All of our games, if our cupcake is gone, it's Michigan this year instead. So with Kent State, with Temple, with Illinois State, we don't have the cupcake that I guess Illinois State's technically your cupcake, but we don't have a cupcake like we normally would have. But the thing is, you get a cupcake, then you get Michigan, then you get Temple, who has a new staff, but then you have Auburn. So you don't have as many, you don't have a long group of just easy games. It's every other chopped up, and then it's boom, 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 boom for the rest of the year. So if Oklahoma can pull this out, the question is, what does all of our competition look like as far as returning talent? That's the one thing I'm going to be going through like crazy here in the spring. Once we get past the transfer portal, we're going to have to look at that.
So if I'm looking at it just right now, the teams I expect to be as good, if not maybe better than what they are this year, South Carolina, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think Texas could be as good. Maybe we'll see. I think Michigan will probably be better than what they were this year.
Should be.
I think Auburn could potentially be better than what they were this year. Ole Miss, I don't think they'll be as good.
Yeah.
And Missouri, I don't think will be as good.
Missouri's going to be very good.
But as we've seen in the SEC with a team like Oklahoma beating Alabama, it's kind of become an any given Saturday kind of a league.
Yep.
So you can't overlook anybody, but it's going to be fun. Once again, it's going to be fun, but it's going to be one of those that, especially that second half of the season, unless you can get started on the right foot against Texas to really kick off that final 7 games, it could be a long 2 months for Oklahoma football.
It is. We just got to buckle down, and I would like our defense to continue to lead the way and our offense do just enough that it's not a pain in the butt.
Yep.
That's it. I think we're good.
Take a big step, get me back to 30 points per game, and I think we're going to do just fine offensively and as a team. And that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Sooners. Thanks so much for tuning in, being a part of the show. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube, so hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. We're just 110 subscribers now from 10,000, so hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend, tell a family member to subscribe to Locked On Sooners and become an everydayer just like you. because we're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Follow Jay on Twitter at Unfair Sports. Check out his channel, Unfair Sports, over on YouTube. And follow me at John 9 Williams. You can read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. Boomer.
Sooner.